Wait. I don't get my camera on. Over here. Pause. Okay, so yours. So go to your space. Do it. Okay. Come on, Andrea, go on to. All right, where am I? All right, welcome. Welcome to Coaches and Coffee with Sheila James. All right, I'm gonna start over. Welcome to Coaches and Coffee with Sheila James. Boy, it's so exciting. Everybody coming off an extraordinary Mother's Day, all of us. And I have a really, really awesome guest with us today. Hold on, we're having a little malfunction. All right, here we go. Let's just start over. Welcome to Coaches and Coffee. This is Sheila James, and we're coming off an extraordinary Mother's Day. Hopefully you all had a great Mother's Day weekend. I have the most amazing guest with us today. Her name is Andrea Villa, and Andrea has learned that building relationships, working collaboratively, and pursuing common goals are the key to successful team efforts. Along that same line, she believes in focusing and achieving your personal goals, challenge yourself to embrace failure, and allow your brain to explore creative ways to solve issues that are catapults to becoming a better version of you. Today, she's going to talk about life and grief. She has a life and grief coaching company where she really provides a safe space for people to talk about time, money, relationships, and grief. Welcome, Andrea.
Good morning, Sheila. Thank you so much for having me here. And yes, happy Mother's Day to you too as well.
All right, to all the mothers.
All the mothers.
All right, well, here we go, Andrea. Tell us how you got into the whole conversation or area of grief counseling and leaving legacy files.
Well, Sheila, as usual, people that are inspired by things that happen in their lives get those learnings and experiences and then catapult them into something that is beneficial for them and other people. So that's my story. I became a coach and I was very focused on time management and production and productivity and project management. But then things happen in life, and unfortunately, experiencing divorce, experiencing departure of my long job after 14 years, experiencing the death of two really close people to my life, I decided that grief was something that I was gravitating toward, something that inspired my spirit, but also that I was good at, because the whole idea about grief is just being a companion, is providing a safe space for those who are going through it, and understanding that grief is experienced completely different from one person to another. So that's what triggered my inclination to
that area.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. Talk to us a little bit about grief, because I know the first time I heard you talk about this, the whole capacity and it was so much bigger than just someone dying. So talk to us about grief and the grieving experience.
Absolutely. So grief is a word that we tend to connect with death. And the whole idea of grief, it is a portion of death, but is the departure from yourself, from something that you had or that you owned. So grief is multifaceted. Grief could be the form of death, that you're losing somebody you love, or somebody is experiencing grief, so you go with them through that path of grief. But it's also divorce. You were used to being with somebody for X amount of years as your partner of life, and then you depart from that experience. That is grief. When your children go to college, if you guys have children, when they go to college, you experience a level of grief because they are not anymore with you. You may lose a part of your body. Let's say that you are in an accident and you cannot walk anymore, or you lose a limb. That is grief, because there is something. So is this process of detaching you from something that you had. That is the expansion of grief as a word. Now, death is one of the ones that usually have impacted humanity throughout the years more than the others. But levels of grief, it's very personal, like I was saying before, and there are many, many experiences of grief in your life. So that is the expanded word or meaning of the word grief.
Wow. And what do you, that's really, really great for those of you listening this morning, because there's no one who's listening that hasn't experienced grief to some level or some degree. And then, so when you're working with people, let's say when there's been death, because I know when my sister passed, my son was young, and I realized years later that I never grieved. It's like I was dealing with a 3-year-old, 3-year-old, and I, trying to feed a baby or something. What happens for us when we don't deal with grief? Or what do you hear and see in some of the people you coach and consult around?
So that's a great, great question, Sheila, because if you don't allow yourself to grieve, to mourn, to feel pain, it's the same as not allowing yourself to have any other feelings. Let's say, for example, you don't allow yourself to love. So you are going to get to a point that you get really sick internally, because there's some feelings that you have to feel. Grief is one of them. So by allowing yourself to grieve, and by allowing others and preparing others to grieve when you're gone, it is the present of you allowing them to feel and really continue learning this new norm. Because grief is not going back to where you were. Grief is the same situation we're living with COVID right now. Our past, where all humanity is dealing with the grief of what you had in the past. But right now, what you need to do is understand this new norm. This new norm is you don't have that person anymore in your life. And you need to understand that that's your new norm. Adjusting to that new norm, that's the process of healing toward a better version of yourself, because that person doesn't exist anymore. So you need to allow yourself to grieve.
Yeah, this is amazing. So you allow yourself to grieve when someone dies. You're saying you allow yourself to grieve when your children grow up, they leave the home. I know sometimes we're excited about it, but at the same time, you're experiencing some type of loss. So it could be the loss of a job, long-term or short-term, you said. Let me see, what were some of the other key ones that you said? Loss of job, loss of limbs.
Loss of limbs. So
like you may have had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, it's really good because I broke my left leg in 3 places at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I really for years had the experience of being broken.
Exactly.
I
Sheila,
really
you
did, but
used the
I didn't
word.
go, I didn't know I needed counseling or to talk to somebody. It was like the leg healed, all right, get to work, get out. I mean, whatever. We just keep moving and pressing through. So would you say that this catches up with us at some time or another?
It depends.
When you haven't? Yeah, okay.
So generally speaking, yes, grief catches up to you. So if you don't allow yourself to really understand the broken pieces that need to be put together, and understanding that when you put them together, they were broken before, so it's not going to be the same as before. You are a new fixed person. It will catch up to you, but there are other people that don't experience that. So grief, that's one of the things that I've learned through this process. Grief is personal. So some people may not experience grief at all, and they are okay with that because they now understand that that's the new norm. So grief is a tailored feeling, like it is love, like it is sadness, and we need to respect that. So that is the beauty of why I'm seeing that it's not too much about counseling or coaching, is more a companionship in this process of grief.
Great, beautiful. And then you also tying that in with legacy. I know the other thing that I heard you do that just really blew me away, and it's something particularly for a baby boomer, but not unique to the baby boomers. This whole thing around your legacy and legacy files. So there's the leaving a legacy, and you particularly create legacy files. Let's talk about that for a few minutes.
Absolutely. So I experienced, like I said at the beginning, I experienced and was part of a process of grieving of my dear brother. His wife, partner of life, died too young and not really prepared. We were not prepared for that. And one of my best friends died last year. So helping his children, Randy's children, and my brother Santiago through the process of grieving, I noticed that when we are alive, we assume that we're going to continue alive for a long time to prepare ourselves in case that we died, right?
Yes.
Sometimes death, the majority of time, is not something that you can put in the calendar. You can say, oh, I have 2 months to prepare for this. So I experience their pain in two forms. It's a twofold form as I experience their grief. One, pain, sorrow, true heartbroken experience, but also frustration. I cannot find this. I cannot open the computer. I don't know the password. I don't know where the bank information is. Does he have a will? What should he wear when he's put in the casket? All of those details that were not only part of this pain, but also frustration, because when you're grieving, you're not truly thinking. And now if you need to be forced to think about little details, your grief will be extended and prolonged to a later time. So you don't allow yourself to heal. It's like saying, I'll not go to the doctor. I'll wait another month. I'll wait. When you broke your leg, you have to go immediately to be put together. And that is the same thinking when you should allow yourself to grieve or prepare others when you're gone. This is everything that you need in order for you to grieve properly, even though there's no proper way to grieve, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, that's really great, Andrea. And one of the things you did, you created a legacy file. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a legacy file that exists in the world. Woohoo! So let's talk about that for a minute.
So, and thank you, Sheila. So the idea, and like I told you, I'm all about project management and time management and steps. So I decided, you know what if I were to be given steps to my brother or my good friends, Randy's daughter and son, for them to be prepared in the future so their loved ones don't have to go through the things that they went when they were grieving the death of the loved one. So I created 7 steps, and the 7 steps, the result is a folder. So Sheila, I know you have one. We have a folder.
I have one. After I heard you talk, I went and got mine.
So my legacy, the whole idea of my legacy files is to have a fireproof, waterproof folder of your actual legacy files that will allow your loved ones to, when you die, because that's going to happen, grab this folder and anything that they may need to help them with the logistical aspects of your death, not the emotional ones, but the logistic pieces of your death, to focus on those the way that you will focus a task. Oh, I need to find a will, find it, this label will, living will, and give it to a lawyer or give it to whoever needs it, so they don't have to go through your belongings and your desk and your bed and whatever you have out there, your closet, trying to find something.
I can't find the birth certificate.
Exactly.
So let's talk up. So you're saying there's 7 steps. So, and one thing to note, this file is waterproof
and fireproofed.
And fireproof, yes.
Yes.
So I ordered mine on Amazon, FYI, but it was really easy to buy. I ordered it after I heard her speak about this. I wouldn't order this immediately, because it's just myself and my son, and I have my sibling, my sisters, and my niece, etc. But to make life simple, of course, now I plan to be here another 30 years. I've talked with the
Absolutely.
master,
You had your discussion with
I
him.
had the conversation. So, but and we'll see. But in the meantime, to really be prepared, because the devastation of it, for anybody in the moment takes you over.
Absolutely.
So you really do we all want to begin to get responsible for this. It's mylegacyfiles.com
Correct.
is the website. But let's talk a little bit about the 7 steps, and then we'll send everybody off for a great week.
Absolutely.
What are those 7 steps? So it's by the files.
So the 7 steps are: first, have a conversation with your loved ones, and that's simple. That's step number 1. Tell them, hey, I'm making this folder. It's going to take me about a month or so. So if you don't hear from me in a month, reach out again, because this is important. I'm going to have this done. That's step number 1. And you can actually do this today, right now.
You can start today.
Yes.
Awesome.
Exactly. Step number 2, you need to write down your thoughts and wishes in a piece of paper. And I'm telling you, it needs to be a piece of paper or your computer, because your brain has all your thoughts. But if you don't put them in writing, it's going to be very difficult for you to execute on those. So for example, hey, I want my organs to be donated. I want to be cremated. I want my daughters to decide what they want to do with my ashes. You need to write all those things, so then you can execute on those. So that's number 2. Everything in your brain, put it in a piece of paper or a computer.
And we're putting this in the chat files for you guys to be able to capture this. All right, keep going, Andrea.
Number 3, make your thoughts and wishes official and legal. And in this step is super important, because you're going to call a lawyer, or you're going to do it online, because there are a lot of amazing tools online. And you're going to have 3 documents: a last will and testament, a power of attorney, and a living will, which is an advance directive for healthcare. So 3 documents, super important. You must have those at least. Last will and testament, power of attorney, which is for medical and financial, and a living will.
Great.
That's number 3. Number 4, we're going to get organized. So right now you start understanding where your financial environment is, your health. So you say, I have 2 checking accounts. I have 6 savings accounts. I don't have any credit cards, but that's just me. But if you have credit cards, you have a 401k, all of that, you start listing the things that you have, and you start collecting them. Number 4 is collecting them. Number 5, we're going to put those folders in your legacy folder. So you're going to put them here, and they're going to be labeled. And I have the folders, how to organize them. And by the way, all of this information, you can download it free in my legacy files. I'll send you the information. So that's number 5. We put my legacy files together. So when you open the folder, you can actually easily go there, my life insurance or health related documentation, or your birth certificates, passports, all of that.
Hold on 1 second as you keep going. And what age do you recommend this get started for people?
Honestly, the recommendation is after you're 18, you are grown up, you should have a legacy. Even if you don't have that many things you own, you need to bring your legacy to your life, and then share that with your loved ones.
Beautiful.
I'm 18 years old.
18?
Usually, yes, I know.
All right, so you don't have to wait. No, this is great. This is so awesome. All right, keep going, girl.
Absolutely. So number 6, remember the people you call on step number 1 to say, it's going to take me a month to collect all of this. You call them again and you say, hey, I'm done. And by the way, the folder that I told you, or the file cabinet that I told you, it's under my desk, under my bed. Does it have a combination or not? The combination lock is X, Y, and Z. You just share it with them. And then number 7, you maintain up to date your legacy files. I need to print the new insurance card, or or my blood test came back, I need to print another version on them. So you keep updating them, but usually a year after you create it. So let's say that you decide this month is going to be your legacy files month. In a year from now, on May the 10th, you start collecting again the things that have been updated.
Beautiful.
So those are the 7 steps. Call,
Great.
get your thoughts together in a piece of paper, let's do it legal with your 3 documents that you need. Start collecting those folders and information, put them together, share with your loved ones that you did it, and then maintain them.
Great. That's spectacular. Well, there you go. I mean, this was so informative, Andrea. Thank you so much. And the website again is?
mylegacyfiles.com. And right now you will put your information and I will be sending you the free PDF. And that we're going to be launching a new site in a month or so where you can buy additional products. But so far, that's the process.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you all for listening. Prayerfully, that was as impactful for you as it was for me, which leads us to, of course, our word for the week. And our word for the week would be what? Legacy. An amount of money or property left to someone in a will. A gift by will, especially in the case of grief, money, or personal property. Inheritance, bequest. So our word for the week is legacy. Dwell in it. Start your legacy files today. You can start by just even ordering your files bag, fireproof, waterproof. Everybody have a magical week. Oh, and by the way, Andrea is also in this week's episode of Sheila Speaks, where she talks more and more about that. It's on our podcast. It's amazing. Again, have a magical week. Have a great Monday morning. Andrea, again, thank you so much.
Thank you,
God
Sheila.
bless you all, and we'll see you next Monday. Bye-bye. All right, Andrea. Thank you so much.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I think we're still live.